Hi, I'm Michelle Fondin, and you should give me a rose.
No, I'm Mathieu Fondin, and you should give me a rose.
This is On a Cloud, a mother and son bachelor podcast, and welcome to episode 13 of our podcast and the season finale of
The Bachelorette.
Oh my goodness.
It's a coin toss, y'all. We're down to the wire. This is two boys.
Men left.
Our Becca Cuffrin's gonna get engaged for the second time. Boy, she's got a whack last name, but all of these other boys have whack last names too, as we find out this season.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what their last names are, but they both have really funky last names.
We'll get into that later.
So we really, as hard as we possibly could have, we tried to stay away from spoilers. Boy, there's a lot of spoilers out there.
There are. Now here's the thing. I want us to wait until the actual reveal to reveal who it is.
Yeah, of course.
So, all right, we'll start the...
Let's just say that I was trying to be really good and stay away from everything.
Mom did receive a little spoiler, and then she said it to me. So we kind of knew who won going in, but mind you, all to this point, we are still thinking it is Blake up to this point.
And it still could be Blake up to this point, but we just didn't... Yeah, it was a really hard thing because we had our heart and mind set on Blake. So to consider Garrett as a variable,
yes,
we weren't
sure. Here's the thing: is that watching this episode, we will not spoil who it is. But watching this episode, Garrett kind of pulled himself up to Blake's level, so it was it was
neck on neck. It was like a big time competition.
Oh yeah. So we start with Becca saying how excited she is for the boys to meet her parents. They're in the Maldives.
This is such
a gorgeous location.
Oh my
it's by far the prettiest they've had all season. Thailand's a close second, but it's really, really pretty.
It is nuts, so crazy how beautiful the Maldives are.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the name Maldives. I didn't know where it was, though.
Me neither. Well, now you want to go there,
it's,
so.
It's south of India in the Indian Ocean, and it is so incredible looking.
It's very pretty.
They were in the Shangri-La Villa Muti? I don't know.
I don't
anyway,
remember.
A really beautiful 5-star resort.
Yeah. So the boys are going to meet Becca's parents. This happens in every finale.
So we thought they were going to Minnesota. They're not going to Minnesota.
No, the Cuffrin family was transplanted to Maldives.
And it was in hometown. There were about 8 of Becca's family members, and most of whom we didn't know who they were.
Yeah. Say you're coming in on this episode fresh and hot. A little primer on the boys. Blake appeared on a horse last season after the final rose, and on an ox at the beginning of this season, and he has had very good conversations with Becca. She seems to really like him for reasons that are beyond our or the camera's understanding. Garrett is a very clear-cut husband type. He has been married before. Becca is nervous about this.
Yeah.
He is scruffier and, in our opinion, much more handsome than Blake.
He's a lot more handsome. He's very much model material.
Yes, and he did win the first impression rose on the first night.
He won the first impression rose. Now, to backtrack a little bit, when Becca met with 2 of the former bachelorettes,
yes,
one was Rachel.
Yes.
And the other one was I don't know who, but they were the ones that saged her. Remember they saged her and they saged her vagina in the beginning of the season? Yes, I do remember this.
It was very good. And they said, keep an eye out for the man that gets the first impression.
Yeah, because for those 2 women, the first impression rose guy was the one who
ended up getting engaged to them.
Yeah. So it was really interesting that there was a little bit of foreshadowing, and we weren't sure. You never know what's going to happen.
Still,
but
making
at least
it to finals
he made it to the finals.
Yeah,
so it was really interesting.
The Cuffrin family is interesting because Becca has a sister that looks nothing like her.
Not at all.
Her mom and 2 uncles since her dad has passed away.
Right, and then there was a couple other cousins or something.
Yeah.
There were a few other people there as well.
Garrett goes first.
Yeah, Garrett goes first. And boy, oh boy, we really weren't sure how this was going to pan out.
Me neither.
It was really weird because Garrett, he's such a nice guy. But honestly, I think for the family, especially what happened with Ari, I think it's a little bit hard for Becca's family.
It is. It definitely is. For them to actually be able to get it up, so to speak, about another boy so soon after the last guy.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that generally the Bachelorette's family is the Bachelor or Bachelorette's family are very temperate.
Yeah.
Because they're always like, oh, we love them both, and we're okay with any decision you make.
Yeah, any decision
Only
you make
if
is okay.
one of the boys is crazy, crazy different from the other, are they ever like, I don't know. This one guy is a serial killer, so...
No, they've never said that. Becca is really sweet because she has a conversation with her mom first, and she says that she is in love with 2 boys, but she starts to talk about Garrett because he's the one coming first.
Yeah.
And her mom's like, whoa, you're actually in love with 2 boys? Like,
yeah,
are you sure about that?
What else is new? They're always in love with 2 boys/women. But the thing is that she, and I respect this, is waiting to say it to one of them, which I think is
that was
good.
really super respectful.
Yeah. Now the thing is that Garrett's meeting with her family, I'd expect it would be just kind of cordial, but it goes much better than I anticipated.
It is nuts. Okay, so one thing about Garrett is that, do you guys remember that when we talked about Garrett and Becca was saying, well, the one thing about Garrett is that I've never seen the other shoe drop with Garrett. I've never seen the other side. Because remember she said, like, do you ever get upset?
Oh, yeah,
and he said, I can count on a few fingers.
Like, the amount of times I've ever not been happy in my life.
And so it's really weird because then when he went to Hometowns, we realized that with his ex-wife and the craziness that went on, that he was in a deep depression.
Yeah.
So we were like, is this person for real? And then on this part of the season finale,
we get a much more sensitive and softer Garrett.
Like a Garrett that broke down so many times.
He cries in front of her sister and one of her uncles.
And I think even the mom, maybe?
Not.
Maybe, I don't know.
Not sure.
But he was like crying like a baby throughout the whole process.
Which, like, no, to be fair though, I think that's exactly what we needed from Garrett. Because up until now, he had proven to be kind of goofy and fun,
just
and Becca
like the happy-go-lucky guy, but you've got to realize that there are, and we said this in the other episode, is that there's way more to life than showing your positive face. You need to show that you're human.
Yeah, we criticized Garrett for that statement he made earlier, because A, it's a blatant lie, as we find out when he goes to Hometowns, and B, it shows that he's a one-dimensional character, not... Because, I don't know, I do meet people sometimes who are, like, unceasingly happy, but usually it's because those people have a lot of issues underneath that.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever.
Or they've been through a lot, so they have a deep sense of faith and they tend to be happier. But we really saw a side to Garrett that was human. He broke down. He said how much in love with Becca he was.
Yep.
And not his uncle, Becca's uncle really grilled him.
Okay, yes.
In the beginning.
Now, that's the thing, though, is that the grilling kind of paid off. Because during Blake's portion, the uncles do not seem that hot on Blake.
Yeah, that's true.
So Garrett goes through his date, and everyone gives glowing reviews of Garrett to Becca.
Right, and she's really happy. And what's funny is that Garrett's never shown his really sensitive side to Becca.
Yeah.
So when his family members were saying, like, he was crying,
yeah.
she's like, what? He was crying?
They're like, he let out all the water into his body on our floor. And she's like, okay.
It was so cute.
It was very cute. Cute.
So an interesting thing happened, though, after Becca's date with... Yeah, no, we're not talking about date yet because they don't actually physically go out on a date.
They go on a date after this, but after the family meeting.
She says goodbye to Garrett, and when she says hello to Blake the next day...
She says something that we knew all along, but that we hadn't heard her vocalize yet, which is that she was sure it was Blake from, like, the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. She said she was sure, but, you start to see these wisps of doubt in her
Becca.
eyes.
Right.
You start to see these wisps of like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have to choose between 2 really great guys.
Yeah.
When I always thought it was Blake all along.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to watch because poor Blake comes on in the next date. And to meet the parents, right?
Yes.
To meet the family. And I was reflecting back on Ari's season.
Yeah.
And I remember that Becca came second.
Yeah, okay,
Lauren
Mom mentioned this.
First,
something weird happened.
Becca came second, and Ari's family loved Lauren.
Yeah.
And then Becca had to come second and, like, defend herself.
Yeah.
And it was really super awkward, unfortunately,
rough
for Blake.
To see.
This is exactly what happened.
Mom thought this was producer intervention. She questioned
gosh.
the fact because... And, I mean, like, this is also one part of the game that's the hardest of all time, is that, like, you have some other guy's name on your family or on your lady's family's lips the second you go to meet them for the first time, and they're comparing you to someone constantly.
Yeah,
and that comparison does not go well with Blake.
No, and the problem is that Blake, on his own, I think Blake is a really solid person.
Yes.
He's a very solid person. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good personality. I think he has a very multi-dimensional personality.
I agree. Yeah, no, it's very real.
He's got a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And he's a really solid person, but unfortunately for him, it was like this sense of saying, so, like, what do you think of Garrett? Which I thought was a weird question. One of the family members said to him, well, what do you think of Garrett?
Like, how would you react if she married Garrett? Was basically what one of the family members said, which was lunacy, because that sucks to say. It's basically saying, like, yeah, but hey, hold on. Let's talk about this other guy for a second, because I think he's the real one for Becca. I think they were trying to, like, test his jealousy or something like that, but it worked, because Blake becomes this doomsday crier for the entire family meeting.
Yeah, it was really kind of, it was too bad for Blake that he had to endure that, But,
okay, and I think it makes all the difference, because he says to the camera, he says, I have a very good sense for these sort of things, and I feel this sense of impending doom. I felt this right before my, was she his girlfriend?
I guess girlfriend.
Long-term girlfriend broke up with him. He said the whole day I just felt like something was off, and then later that day she broke up with me, and I feel like this is the same thing all over again.
Yeah, and so the thing is that, like, but Becca was off too, and that was the problem. Is Becca toward not in the middle of the family date, but like toward the end of the family date, you could see the look on her face that something wasn't right.
She wasn't thrilled,
She was not thrilled. Now, we got the report card from the family afterward.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. That was weird. After all the cut scenes that we saw of the family members talking to Blake about Garrett,
they seemed to be split 50-50. Yeah.
No, I thought they were pro Blake.
No, I did not get that appearance.
Yes. I totally got that.
I got that the mom and the sister, or the mom seemed to like them both equally. The sister liked Blake better. I think the two uncles really did like Garrett better. Because one of them says something buck wild that I need to relay. He says, Garrett just has a beautiful soul. I feel like he's a poet, you know? I just feel like he'd do great poetry.
That's right.
It was whack, but a very good compliment at the same time, because it's so specific.
It was so funny. So, Becca's sister said that Blake is very similar to Becca, that they have very similar personalities, and that Blake would definitely challenge Becca.
Yes. And
keep her challenged and have that spice in life, like that passion and spice.
Yeah, and like her sister was on this weird crusade about a boy that will challenge her.
Yeah, that's true.
It was kind of curious.
Yeah.
She's approaching relationships like a chess grandmaster approaches computer programs. It's like, I need one that will push me to my limits.
Yeah, it was really funny. Becca admits, I guess on camera, that she's really confused about who to choose. And of course, Blake does pick up on this. And when he says goodbye to her, you could tell, like, he was not at ease at all.
Yeah.
When he said. But of course, both boys have a chance at redemption and making a final impression because they both get a date, and it's a full day date.
Man, I'm just thinking, like, all right, imagine you're in Becca's shoes and there's one guy who you've kind of set your mind to the fact that you wanted to marry them for, what is the process, like 3 months?
Something like that.
For like 3 months now.
Right.
And then you have this other guy who is suddenly really standing out to you and you're just giving them a chance, but then you start thinking, like, if I'm rushing into this, I'm going to miss out on this other dude.
Yeah.
What do you stick with?
I don't know. Like, it's really hard. I tend to go with the person of love at first sight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, I think I would too.
I have a tendency to do.
I would too, but more just because.
But also, she kept saying, like, Blake and I recognize each other's heart. Like,
Blake and I recognize each other's hearts. Blake and I can't live without Blake. Blake is the perfect man for me. I love Blake so much.
I can never live without Garrett.
Never, not once.
Never, not a single time.
That said, the date goes swimmingly for both of them. Who goes first on the date? I think it's Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett and Becca, they go out on a boat, and she just said, We're in the Maldives. We're going to go on the water. We're going to go have fun. We're going to go on a boat together. Garrett is like so incredible as far as the power of positivity and self-confidence.
Now, here's the thing. What you said secondly, I think, is the biggest touchstone, is that Garrett seems confident and he seems relaxed, and that confidence and relaxation, I think, enables him to really soar in his date with Becca.
It's going to get him a boost this time. Because,
and to make her feel safe in their relationship.
Yeah, because, you know, even she says to him something like, oh, aren't you nervous? And he says, no. He's like, you know, we have a solid relationship. I'm feeling good. I'm totally in the moment with you. I'm enjoying this time with you.
Yeah.
He does not seem to be anticipating an end. Like, he's not anticipating anything bad that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's wild that he doesn't let Blake get into his head.
Yeah. Now, Mom and I, at this point in the game, where was your head at?
Well, my head was like, wow, like, Garrett is gaining points.
Yeah,
like,
same.
If we're on a game show and you have points to gain...
Yeah, Garrett's like, ding, 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 Jeopardy bell, double Jeopardy.
It's so crazy. He is calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
They were doing romantic things, like, you know, looking out on the boat. Like,
they went
Becca
scuba
was
diving.
talking to him about this really serious matter, and Garrett's like, oh, look, dolphins! And she, like, turns around, and there's dolphins,
out of the water.
Like, flipping, and baby dolphins.
Yeah.
And then they see the equator bobbing or something. What is
the
it
equator,
called?
like, it's a little buoy.
It's a little buoy, and they're like, oh my gosh, 50-50! They say this 50-50
Mom
thing.
does get the jeebies, though. That's a 50-50. I don't remember that.
That's
Mom gets the jeebies at one point because they're swimming into the water and Garrett grabs Becca's leg at some point and pulls her under.
Oh, yeah.
Mom is not happy about that.
No.
She does not have a good time.
Yeah, if you're ever in the water with me, do not pull me under. I
Hey,
can't
if any of our
stand
listeners
that.
go swimming with my mother at some point, if you attend the On a Cloud podcast pool day, then be sure to come. Yeah, no.
They have this super duper romantic date.
They do, and it's great. And now I'm still at this point where I think that I would still choose Garrett, and I do think that
Garrett or Blake?
For me.
Oh, for you.
Garrett.
You would choose Garrett.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been in there the whole season.
Yeah, you've been the
Blake.
Garrett. Garrett's your guy.
Yeah, I've been the Garrett spokesman, but halfway through the season, I was like, oh, Blake's gonna friggin' win the season.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm watching them, and I'm still like, their date is good. I still think Blake's gonna win the season.
Yeah, me too.
So then we move on to the next date.
Well, no, wait.
Oh,
so
the
night date, there's a night portion, okay? Becca says to Garrett, and she has said this before, and she says it again. She's
I'll
like,
always be here when you need a friend. It's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Well, I know, but do you know, remember Garrett said, like, I will choose you every day? Just like, he says it again.
He says that he says it again? He said that last episode. That sucks. Hey, buddy, if you're going to steal lines from anyone, don't steal lines from the guy
Ari.
that
Jeez.
literally abandoned her for another woman at the end of his season.
But, you know, that doesn't even seem to faze Becca, and she says to Garrett, like, you remind me so much of my dad.
Yeah, she says a lot.
She says it again.
And Mom tries to play Freud on the couch. She's like, I'm sensing a bit of Oedipal. Well, it's not Oedipal. It's Electra complex.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Electra complex.
Is that the father and the
daughter?
and the daughter? Oh,
yep.
really? I didn't know it was called that.
Hey,
it's
so
electric.
many...
Boogie.
That's what a lot of years of introductory psych will give you.
And it's really funny. Garrett says this really funny line to her.
Yeah.
And he starts getting teary-eyed with her.
Uh-huh. He does.
He says, Becca...
He starts turning a little bit, like he's a little shy about it. It's very cute. Anyways,
so
he says
cute.
Becca.
So he says, Becca, you don't give me butterflies. You give me eagles.
Oh, yes. This sucked. I remember this. I remember that. And I was like, is he trying to, like, masculinize butterflies in my stomach? It's, like, more macho than butterflies. It's like, oh, whenever I see the old Union Jack. Wait, Union Jack's UK. Whenever I see the old Stars and Stripes, I get eagles in my tummy. I'm filled with an electra shock of patriotism.
Oh, my gosh. It's so funny.
It's ridiculous. So, yeah, he does say that. And you can tell that, like, more so than with Blake, I think, Garrett wears his emotions on his sleeve, and you can tell he's really into Becca.
Yeah.
He's really into her. Now, granted, we are still in the, like, philia stage of love, where I'm not sure how that will stand when they get married and further down the line. I'd hope it would.
I think
he
Garrett
seems like a stable person.
Really dedicated person. I mean, I think Blake is too.
I agree.
That's the thing is, I think
the boys that make it this far usually are.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Garrett is that with his marriage, he was saying that, you know, he was in a relationship with a really abusive woman, and he was trying to give it as much as he possibly could to make that work.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but that does also concern me that having put all of his trust into someone like that, only to have them break his trust, he might not do that the second time.
Yeah.
Because he might pull away early when he starts sensing the first sign of trouble. Anyways,
right.
I'm not one to judge their
We're not
potential marriage.
Analyze.
Because
yeah, we don't know.
Right now, she's about to go on a date with another man. They start smooching, and then she leaves after a while because they're not allowed to bang. Chris Harrison gives abstinence PSAs across the country. Unless it's Fantasy Suites night.
Then you can.
Then all you want, literally 12 hours, and then the cameras come back. And when the cameras come back, who knows? Maybe you want to do it in front of the camera. That'd be good footage. I'm sure they'd air it on ABC and blur it out.
Oh my gosh. So, Blake and Becca meet, and you know, she is still like crazy about Blake, even though she's growing in her feelings for Garrett. Like, she literally jumps into his arms, and she has her legs wrapped around him.
Yeah, she does this back in Thailand
and she does this every time with
she
Blake, doesn't she?
Yeah, and I think they go on a bike ride together.
They do, and it's so cute because they she was talking about how uncoordinated she was on a bike, but they were like doing a good job, and they were having so much fun. Blake says to the camera, he doesn't say this to Becca, but he says to the camera, you know what, I was in my head the other night with Becca's parents, and I'm totally not going to let this ruin my day, and I'm just going to have fun today. And he did. Yeah, he did. I know, I felt like he really did well on this date. Mm-hmm. And are we on the night portion now, or is there more to the day? No, well, during the day even, Becca says, like, I can't imagine my life without Blake. She says it again. During the date portion of the date.
Then you have your decision. Okay, for me, when you say, I love something, it's that you want that thing in your life every day and you can't live without it. The fact that she's saying this kind of tells me that she's made her decision, but at the same time, there is a weird room for doubt that I'm sensing in the episode so far.
Right, and I think, like, at one point in the date, they're sitting down. I don't know if they're sitting on the sand or something. They're, like, sitting. Yeah. Blake and Becca are sitting. And Blake started to explain to her the fact that he was in his head with the parents or the family members, because he said, I know that there's this other relationship, and they were mentioning it, and I was starting to get in my head, but then I realized that I love you so much, and I don't want to let that get in the way of our relationship. And the camera panned to Becca, and I was like, do you see her face? Do you see her face? Do you see her face? Because she had that look on her face that she gets. Yeah. She is so, like, she does not hide her looks very well.
She doesn't. Not at all.
When her mind is set on something else, or she's just tuned out, or she's thinking about something else.
She gets this weirdly vacant, like, stare. Yeah.
And she did that to Blake, and I was like, oh, no.
No, hold on. She did.
Oh, no, no.
Okay. She did that to Blake, but then the night portion, when they were talking,
I can't even remember what happened in the night
portion. Blake gives her this awesome little box of the memorabilia of all their time together. He gets photos. He cuts them all. He gets a little time capsule. He gives her it, and then he's like, I made this for you. And she's like, you made the box? He's like, everything but the box.
Yeah, it was so sweet and so thoughtful.
They have a conversation together, and that's when, like, I think I said, I don't know if I said it to you or if I just thought it to myself, but, like, watching them, I kind of said this before, is like, I personally would like to date Garrett more, but I do think that they're right for each other.
Yeah,
she and Blake are, I thought they were right for each other.
Yeah, and
that's what I genuinely do think.
They had this, like, tender moment where it was just, they were meshed together with that whole, like, memorabilia that he gave her, that, like, time capsule box, where I just felt like everything was right in the universe. Like, I felt that. Like,
okay, Garrett, awesome guy, but Blake clicks with Becca in such a way that, like, how do you spend so little time with someone and already know from the beginning that you're going to marry them if you don't synchronize on a deeper level with them? You know what I mean?
And I think the one thing about Blake is that he does have depth. I'm not going to say Garrett doesn't have depth. I think Blake has a lot of depth.
Yeah, I think he does as well. I would agree with that.
He's just a really deep person. He does get in his head a little bit more, but, you know, I mean, that's personality.
Yeah.
Some people just are more warriors than other, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, but...
Well, no, okay, but, like, you can't even say that, I think, because it is natural to be worried when you're in this situation.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying.
Hard to
I said
say
it's
that,
not
like...
even a bad thing to worry.
I know, but,
like,
it's odd to put paranoid as someone's character trait when they're being followed by someone with a knife. Like, the thing is that when you're dating a woman and she could potentially dump you and move on with another guy the next day, of course you're going to be nervous. You're
going to be a little bit nervous.
It is, in fact, I'd say more of an anomaly that Garrett's not nervous.
Yeah, exactly. So, after that date with Blake, I thought it was a done deal.
I genuinely did as well.
I really, truly thought it was a done deal.
Yeah. So, now here's the thing. One thing we forgot to mention is that this finale is filmed in front of, or not filmed, it is broadcast in front of a live studio audience. And Chris Harrison is there, and every commercial break he turns around and goes, devastating stuff, rough stuff. And then it goes back to the clips. It's ridiculous.
And then, you know what he says, like, in the beginning of the episode, Chris Harrison is saying, this is the most devastating breakup and... what is it? Engagement in the history of Bachelor.
This is the most emotional one, and I do not say that lightly. Hey, Chris, you say that every time, and it ain't true. Worst breakup is probably Becca and Ari.
Yeah.
Or, man, Rachel and Peter was rough. Rachel and Peter those were both way, way worse than this is. I already promise you, and we're like halfway through the episode. Are you feeling a segment?
If you have a segment.
I do have a segment.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me you had a segment.
Oh no, don't worry. You don't need to do anything for this one. So guys, things are getting a little heavy and tense. So I'm going to tell you one moment that makes Mom laugh uncontrollably to tears every single time. So there's a movie called Dirty Grandpa starring Zac Efron and Robert De Niro.
I love this movie.
We watched the unrated version because Mom loves really crappy, awful dude girl R-rated comedies.
I love Zac Efron and I love Robert De Niro and I love bromance comedies.
Yes, so she was completely sold.
Obsession with them.
Yeah. So in said movie, Zac Efron is a straight-laced college boy or whatever.
He's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer, okay.
And he's a preppy man with very stuck up.
And a very party-like grandpa. Now, at one point, Zac Efron goes to a party and he does some kind of drug unknowingly.
Well, I think he gets drugged. Yeah.
He gets drugged, something like that. And this might only be in the not rated version, but he gets this plump little plushie of a bumblebee. It's like a hand puppet. He puts it on his penis.
Yes.
And then while he's dancing, it's flopping up and down and waggling around. And I agree that the vision of Zac Efron with a bumblebee plushie on his penis is extremely, extremely good.
Oh my
but it got Mom like nobody's business. And then after that scene, he wakes up on the beach in the morning. And there's just a bumblebee doll, like, right on his crotch, and he gets up, and he's interacting with a child with a bumblebee on his penis.
Okay, here's the thing. It's like, the guy who drugged him drew a penis swastika
That's right.
on his forehead, and
That's
his fiance is Jewish.
Yes.
And she's trying to plan their wedding.
Yes.
And she calls him on FaceTime when he's hungover with this penis swastika on his forehead and the bumblebee.
This tickles Mom pink, and the physics of the bumblebee are extremely good.
Oh my god.
That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to bring some light into the conversation. You guys got to hear Mom laughing on mic, so that's fine.
Yeah, but you didn't get the uncontrollable laugh. I don't know
why. No, I didn't. You weren't crying this time. It might be the heat. And also, I brought it up recently, so maybe it's still kind of fresh in your memory.
It's too funny.
Yeah, so anyways, let's keep going. After both night portions, I think, is it time?
Pretty much. I mean, Becca gets dressed. You see everyone you see the boys picking out rings with Niel Lane.
Yeah, that's right. So Niel Lane is this strange old man,
right,
who appears on every single season of The Bachelor and Bachelorette and is like,
he is the ring bearer.
Yes, he's like this little Rumpelstiltskin man that's like, yes, here is your proposal for the bride.
It's very strange because, like,
you promised me 1 finger and 3 fetuses for this.
Yeah, he usually, like, chooses these really elaborate rings.
That are the biggest honking rings you've ever seen in your life.
And it's funny because some of them aren't even that pretty.
Like the size of my nose, and I have a big nose.
Yeah, I don't even think the rings are that pretty, honestly.
No? Okay, hold on, though.
I love diamonds, but I like diamond solitaires, that they have the big rock of the diamond.
Mom drools over diamonds all the time.
Diamonds, but they're way too elaborate.
Okay, I will say. Now, Mom is like, the more diamonds, the better. You should be like a tagline for Jared's jewelry shop, basically. Because she loves diamonds. I don't care.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Bite me. Dogs are everyone's best friend, according to folklore. So,
I like dogs.
These are like the Final Fantasy final bosses of diamonds, though, where it's like, there's a man. A man grows 3 heads. A man grows 5 wings. The man flies in the air and grows 2 other people from his legs. It's like that, basically, where there's a huge center diamond surrounded by 18 tiny diamonds all across the ring itself are the diamonds. And the ring itself is diamond-shaped to fit around your finger.
And sometimes it's like a ruby in the center with diamonds around it. Or
and
a sapphire.
We crossbred a diamond with an emerald. And it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculously crazy.
So Niel Lane, the Diamond King.
Oh, I know Becca will just love this one. I'm like, how do you know what she's gonna love?
Niel Lane is like, good choice, now the pound of flesh. And then he pulls out a dagger like Jafar.
It's really crazy.
So Becca gets in this lovely, lovely dress, and she is standing like the most picturesque boardwalk I've ever seen.
What's really kind of interesting is that she makes this little speech as she's getting ready.
Oh, but they always do. It's always like, I don't know who I'm going to pick.
But she didn't say that. That's what I was going to say, is that she didn't say that. She was like, I know who I'm going to pick.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they have to know. They can't be like...
Well, I know Ari was, like, sweating it, though.
Yeah, well, of course,
Ari
we found that out
really
after the fact why.
It. So, she seems very confident, and she said, this is the fella I can't live without.
Was that...
She said that.
Was that important?
I think it was important.
Okay, wait, this is the fella.
I think that is important that she said that.
Considering what she has said in the past.
So, I am thinking, of course it's Blake.
Now, you see two... Yeah, okay. At this point, I'm also... Mom and I are on the same wavelength. We're both like, alright, it's Blake.
It's gotta be Blake. There's no way it's not Blake.
We get a shot of both boys mowing over on little dinghies. They're on these tiny little boats.
Tiny little motorboats.
Yeah.
And so you see them like...
And the music in the background's like, no, 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 and they're like, it's so good.
Flash to like, it's so funny because they flash to one boy, they flash to the other boy, they flash to one boy,
they flash to Becca. Becca's got a rose. Becca has bones near the rose.
Oh, I know. There was like a pile of bones.
There was a pile of driftwood that looked like bones.
But it looked like bones. It was very strange. I'm like, how is that romantic?
So one of the boats arrives at the dock.
And it's weird because you don't know. They don't show you. You don't know who's going to show up first.
No,
and then I see the pants coming first.
Hold on. No.
Let's
explain. The first boy that comes is always the boy that gets cut. Because obviously they want to leave on a good mood. They don't want to have her get engaged and then not have to turn around and go, see ya.
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, I saw the pant, like, because I paid attention to what the boys were wearing.
Oh, you did? I didn't.
Garrett was wearing black.
All suits look the same to me.
Garrett was wearing black, and Blake was wearing navy blue.
Uh-huh.
I saw the pants, and I almost cried.
Yeah, so Mom saw the pants, it panned up. Mom was like,
I was like, no.
I'm like, Mom, what are you on about? And then I see who it is, and I'm like, oh.
No.
Blake comes off the boat first.
Blake comes off the boat first.
Now, okay, this is...
Damn you, YouTube spoilers. Like,
did you already know?
Honestly, I had all these flashes of winner or bachelor winner. I was like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's totally wrong.
I thought so too.
I was so mad. You guys, you don't understand my level of disappointment. Like, my
disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I mean, I would personally marry Blake just because. Like,
on principle?
Yes, I'm so mad.
So, okay, this is rough for a variety of reasons.
Don't understand.
I totally don't get it either, because although this is kind of a funny arc, because at the beginning of the season we didn't understand why she loved Blake, now we don't understand why she doesn't love Blake. Because, okay, she's been saying the whole season.
I'm so in love with Blake.
I'm in love with Blake. She's the first guy she says she's in love with. She said she knew she was going to marry him from the beginning of the season. She made him a lot of, like, I don't want to say promises, but she gave him so much security in the relationship. And Blake just gave that speech about how he, like, kind of forecasted that a heartbreak was coming. It is rough.
I mean, and the weird thing was his instincts were spot on.
He gives her a speech.
Oh my god.
Also, Chris Harrison is not smiling when he comes out of the boat.
Yeah, and he's like, Blake? Goes down there. And I was like, oh my god, he's not smiling. He's not smiling. He's not smiling.
It's because he knows he's going to pull a gun out of his pocket and shoot Blake dead in 12 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
So Blake goes down.
So, what happens next? Blake basically gives her his proposal speech.
Yeah.
Like, literal proposal speech.
Yes, it's rough. Now, the boys have speech prepared ahead of time, and I think the producers...
But usually they're supposed to stop them.
Not always. I think the producers have started... Because otherwise, why would they not stop them, right? I think the producers are making it so...
Oh my gosh.
They have to say their speeches first, and the Bachelorette's allowed to stop them.
He says the entire speech, and he says, I am ready to spend the rest of my life with you, Becca. Will you?
And she stares at him and says, nah, bud.
No. Sorry.
No. Okay, no, she's more graceful than that.
She says, I knew that you were the one from the beginning, but...
she can't say that.
But she says, but...
Yeah.
She keeps saying but, right? She says but after every... And that's when...
Stop saying but.
The big old butt.
Stop. No. What was that?
I don't know.
All right, let's keep going.
When Blake was interviewed by my friend...
You know how you're like, I think it's too hot to be funny. You've resorted to saying but, so I think you might be right. Oh, it is getting toasty in here. Let's hurry up.
It's okay. When my friend Chris Harrison interviews Blake, because they bring him out on the couch...
Yeah.
To watch himself propose to Becca.
Oh, that's right.
And then get rejected. Chris asks Blake, he says, when did you feel that something was off? And he said, when she started saying but.
Yeah.
That's when I knew something was off.
And
because she was saying, like, I love you, Blake. I can see my life with you, Blake. I adore you, Blake.
Yeah.
But... And I was like, no. And he did not expect it.
He didn't. And, like, that's the thing is both boys the other night were saying, I know she's going to pick me.
Yeah.
And, like, Blake had this confidence going the whole season of, like, she's told me that her relationship, she can't focus on her relationship with the other boys because of how strong we are. And she has said that to him. All right, so she rejects him, and she goes off, and
he's
crying, he's sweaty,
and devastated. Oh my god, this poor boy.
And he basically said, like, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen.
Well, he said, I knew it, but he also says, I don't understand why this happened.
Yeah, I think he's saying, I knew it as a defeatist sort of thing. Of like, from what he was sensing yesterday, he had a gut feeling.
But I think he just didn't understand
And now
why.
Becca... Okay, so after the fact, Becca goes on the couch with him, and she does give the reason, and this is exactly what I'd said the whole episode.
You mean before... This is in real time?
Yeah, this is in the live studio audience.
This is in the live studio
They bring Becca out, and Becca talks to...
Which was kind of painful to even watch.
Oh, it's always brutal. Apparently they didn't used to do this. They started doing this Rachel season, and it's kind of the worst.
Yeah.
Especially for friggin' Becca and Ari. Ugh. Because it was like, I chose this other woman over you. Now all three of us are on a couch. Oh, no, Lauren wasn't there. It was just Becca and Ari.
Lauren wasn't there yet, yes.
Miserable, though. Miserable. So, anyways, I was going to say that she talks to Blake, and she says, in times of crisis, I saw how you were acting. I saw how Garrett was acting.
Right.
And because he got in his own head and because he got all paranoid, she didn't pick him.
It's so crazy.
It's a crazy reason. I don't know whether that's the real reason, but it's rough.
I mean, I'm sure that Becca will be happy with Garrett.
I think they're both good picks.
They're both good picks. I feel like her life with Blake would be more magical.
Yeah. I don't know about more magical. I don't want to make that judgment. But like, I think there's something there that she's missing with Garrett.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I can't put my finger on it.
And I think the family sensed that too, though. They picked up on that.
I disagree. I think the sister and the mom did. I think the uncles hated
because
them.
You weren't. The thing is, like,
I was paying attention.
Because remember, I had to replay it when I said they were talking about Blake.
But you replayed it.
I did.
So I heard it twice. Once subconsciously, once consciously.
They said their pick was Blake, though. Overall, the resounding pick was Blake.
Really?
Yes.
Shocking.
Yes. Their resounding pick was Blake. They said, we think Blake is a better fit for you. But it's your choice.
I did not hear that.
Yes.
I did not hear that. Okay, anyways, so regardless, Becca did not feel that was the case, if they did say that. And Garrett comes out.
So Garrett comes out of the motorboat. I was going to say limo. It wasn't a limo. It was a motorboat. And he gives... You know what's weird, though, is he starts to give his speech to her.
Uh-huh.
And then she does stop him.
Yeah, she does. She stops him too. That's right.
Wait, I need you to stop there.
Yeah, which if that were me, I would have peed myself. I would have been like, well.
Well, Blake's face did turn.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
it did turn for like a second or two.
And he feels Chris Harrison sneak up behind him, pushing a knife into his back, like,
oh my
buddy,
gosh, and
you're on thin ice here, pal.
Her speech to Garrett was a lot more hesitant, even though in the end it was positive.
Yeah.
It was a lot more hesitant because she
maybe the producers asked her to build it up and to really increase it.
It was crazy.
But okay, let's be honest here. At this point at the end, there's no real drama unless it's Ari's season. Because to be honest, if you've rejected one guy, you're not going to turn to the other guy and be like, you too, I'm an independent woman. That would be a sick ending. I'm not going to lie. It'd be a huge twist.
But at this point, Garrett doesn't know that he is the last one.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
So she goes on this long, drawn-out freaking speech, and you can see Garrett's face. He's looking like, does she want me? Does she not want me? I don't really understand what's going on here. And then she basically asks him to propose.
Yeah.
She says, it's really weird the way it...
Well, this is an unconventional show where they basically need permission to get on one knee. So
yeah, it was really a little bit
he
silly.
does. He proposes, and then they go on the
then she gives him the rose because she forgot to give him the rose.
She forgets to give him the rose, and then you see it on his lapel. They talk about how they went out in public disguised, and they went on little romantic getaways, and you see them flirting together.
Right.
And,
yeah, it was kind of cute. I think they're going to be a very good couple.
I do as well. I think they're going to be sweet together. Oh, also, one last little Easter egg. Blake's last name is extremely similar to Horseman, which I think is very, very funny.
What is his last name again?
It's like Harusman or something. I don't know. It's something ridiculous like that.
And then Garrett's last name is something ridiculous.
It's also something completely awful. Becca is not escaping the last name curse.
Yeah,
if she takes
it's like
his.
Unpronounceable.
Yeah.
I don't know what his last name is.
Now that said, no other signs of Bradley or the ox.
No.
Bradley the horse or the ox who is unnamed.
And so at this point, we thought they might...
Oh, okay. You thought this. I did not think they would do this.
You didn't think so?
No.
I thought they might announce The Bachelor.
Oh, announce... Okay, I thought... Okay, here's the thing. Because you also thought that she might pull an Ari switcheroo and be like... No,
I did.
Garrett's not right for me.
Okay. I thought that... it was my wishful thinking that... somehow
she'd swap,
something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was just my wishful thinking, but also because
she'd never do that.
She wouldn't do that.
She knows what that
There's
feels
no
like.
way she would do that because she knows what it was like. But one thing that actually did happen was Chris Harrison did sit down on the couch with them and discuss relationship issues and what they've journeyed through,
because of his Instagram account.
Because of his Instagram account. I thought that was really interesting.
He liked some questionable posts, and they were opposed to they're opposed to Becca's political views and ethical views. So they had an argument about it, but she was saying that they got through it.
Yeah, and I feel like here's what I feel. I feel like Garrett's very willing to work with Becca.
Yeah.
But I did kind of feel like he could be a little bit of a doormat.
You think? Yeah, okay. I do think so at the same time where, I think that he's so taken with her that he's basically going to do whatever he can to get her approval.
Yeah, and so, I think that was one thing that disturbed me just a little bit. I'm just saying this in perspective. In the perspective, I'm saying...
Yes. Although that doesn't necessarily surprise me if you can consider his relationship track record, if he was in an abusive relationship that he felt he couldn't get out of.
Because, I feel like if
I don't want to blame him for that.
If he's a hardcore conservative Republican... and she's a liberal Democrat, it can work. I'm not saying that it can't work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that for him to bend so much and say, I'm learning to have an open mind now, and I'm learning to have... one thing is that people with such strong political views, they don't flip that easily.
They don't tend to. Not if
they
you're...
don't tend to flip that easily,
If you're reblogging political stances on Instagram, then you tend to have some... good confidence in your views.
Exactly. But that being said, I think it was interesting about how they admitted that even though they're getting to know each other, and they've had this opportunity to like have these little sneak away and getaways to get to know each other, that they have been faced with some challenges already. So that they've had to get through.
So thirsty, I'm going to start licking the sweat off my body like a dog. We have to wrap this up.
Okay. So
so they get together. They do not announce the next Bachelor, who is going to be Jason. I'm 90% sure. I've been wrong about things before, though, because I was wrong this whole friggin' season about Blake.
And so was I, obviously. And we are getting ready for our season of Bachelor in Paradise.
Get ready, y'all. We are doing a photo shoot. It is going to pop off.
We can't wait to do our photo shoot tomorrow.
Yeah.
We saw the episode of Bachelor in Paradise today.
It's an absolute banger. It was very good.
Oh, boy. It's so good. And we are just raring to go.
Yeah, thanks you guys for everyone that listened to us this first season.
Yay, Becca got engaged.
She came out of this on top.
I can't believe it.
I can believe it. It happens every season. I can't actually believe it.
Congratulations to Becca and Garrett.
Congratulations, Becca and Garrett. Blake.
We love you, Blake.
You've been sent to the Phantom Zone now. You are not on Bachelor in Paradise.
No, I think we owe this to Blake. We need to say to Blake, we
do love you. And we'll catch you all on the flip side in BIP.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great week.